Hello again and welcome, good morning. Class number 854. So, shall we begin? Shall we start? Well, what do you think? Is it a good time to start? Shall I begin? Shall I start? Comienzo? Empiezo? Comenzamos? Empezamos? Shall we? Shall I? Shall I start? Okay, yes. Let's continue where we left off yesterday. Let's continue where we left off yesterday with the vocabulary. Page number 854 is the program. But this is page 186. In the middle, una beca, scholarship. Scholar, como escolar, scholar. Scholarship. Grant, como el general Grant. A grant es una beca de una fundación para investigación o algo. That's a grant. A scholarship es una beca para realizar estudios, financiado por los que becan. Okay, a scholarship. For example, in the United States, it's very common to aspire for a scholarship. And basically, there are two types of scholarships for the university. In the United States, universities are very expensive. Even public universities are expensive. It's a problem. Higher education in the United States is very good, excellent, the best in the world. Although lately it's becoming too ideological. And it's way too expensive. Pero mucho. Muy caro. We say way. Fijaos que digo way como camino, a manera. It's way too expensive. It means se pasa 80 pueblos de caro. It's way too expensive, the American university system. Now, if you're in high school is el colegio, segunda enseñanza, bachillerato. If you're in high school and you are a brilliant student, an excellent student, it's very likely, it's very probable that several universities will offer you a scholarship, which means you can go to the university for free. Everything is paid. Tuition. Richard, what does tuition mean? Tuition, escrito tuition, what does it mean? It means las tasas académicas mismas. Tuition. Residence fees. Fees son honorarios, o en este caso, las tarifas para residencia. Residence fees, books, everything. Insurance, everything is covered in the scholarship. If you're a brilliant student, the universities want to attract good students, brilliant students from the secondary system in order to be a better university with better students. Okay, that's one type of scholarship. The second type of scholarship is a sports scholarship. If you stand out in football, basketball, baseball, track and field, atletismo, golf, or anything, the university will give you a free ride. Yeah. A free ride means billete gratis. Ride is montar en un avión, montar en una bicicleta, to ride. They'll give you a free ride. That's a scholarship, because sports is very important at the university level. So important that they make a lot of money. Every major university, major means not minor, cada principal universidad, which is 800. Every major university has a football stadium for 70,000, 80,000, or 100,000 people. The University of Texas has a football stadium, American football, with 101,000 seats. 101,000 people. It's a lot of money. And the universities also reach agreements with national television stations to televise the sports events. It's a lot of money. when you make an agreement, when you reach an agreement for national television. So it's a lot of money for the university. So the university wants the best athletes in track and field, in football, American football, especially football, soccer, which is international football, golf, tennis, basketball. The University of Texas has a basketball pavilion for 16,000 people. That's a lot of tickets, a lot of money. Scholarship, so to receive a scholarship. Escéptico, skeptical. Skeptical means you don't necessarily believe, you see. For example, Marta believes that there are UFOs with aliens, alienígenas. He believes there are aliens coming on this planet. Yeah. I'm a bit skeptical. Yeah. I don't necessarily believe, you see. Prove it to me. Show me the evidence. Demuéstramelo. Enséñeme la evidencia. Se dice en inglés evidencia, las pruebas. Pero solemos decir evidencia en singular. Show me the evidence. You know, ever since I have the use of my brain, as far back as I can remember, people are talking about UFOs and aliens and people from another planet. And I'm still waiting. After all these years, I'm still waiting for evidence. Prove it to me. Okay. Of course, I believe that I believe in UFOs, unidentified flying objects, yes. But that there are people or beings from a different planet, I'm indifferent to that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, but prove it to me, please. Prove it to me. Escéptico, skeptical. Empinado, steep. It's a steep hill. To climb a steep hill. You're breathing very hard after you climb a steep. Es como sleep, pero con T. Steep. Yo solo duermo en cuestas empinadas. I only sleep on steep hills. Steep hills, steep. Declaración de la renta, the tax return. Curiosa expresión en inglés. Tax return. Return is devolución. However, we use the expression tax return to refer to la declaración misma que uno rellena y manda a Hacienda. That's the tax return. I have to prepare my tax. Tengo que preparar la declaración este fin de semana. I have to prepare my tax return this coming weekend. My tax return. I don't know why we say return, because sometimes, of course, the tax authorities return money to you because they have withheld too much. People who work in a company, people who work for others, employees, always the company withholds a certain amount every month. Maybe 26%, 26% retención. Aquí no sé qué. Retención fiscal, mensual. It's interesting that when the people negotiate a salary, of course they negotiate the gross salary, not the net salary. And the net salary is what we call take-home pay. La paga de llevar a casa. O sea, el dinero that really enters your bank account. If you work in a company, the company transfers money at the end of the month, a wire transfer to your bank account. And so the money that enters is your take-home pay, your net salary, your net monthly salary. The gross part, the other part, maybe 20%, 25%, 30% maybe, goes to the tax man, al fisco, goes to the tax man. So in reality, the company is working for the tax man. The company is an agent of the tax authorities. And the companies do it for free. It takes a lot of time to calculate and to properly administrate the withholdings. And companies do it for free because the government obliges the companies to do this. It's mandatory. Yes, here in my company, we have 650 employees. And so 650 withholdings every month. And sending the money to Hacienda, to the tax man, to the tax authorities, to the finance ministry. And that we don't receive any compensation for this work. All right. So that's a withholding. Now, and the take-home pay and the tax return. So when you do your tax return, you declare your gross salary, and then you deduct the withholdings, deducir las retenciones, and other deductions. You deduct you deduct the withholdings, las retenciones. Hold is sostener, withhold is retener. All right, ahorrativo is thrifty. Okay, thrifty. Thrift is, that's in el sentido del ahorro. Thrift. Thrift is a very good, very important concept. Most people are not very thrifty. Most people spend all their money. You know? It's interesting, Marta. People constantly say, the inflation in Spain is 7 or 8%. The unemployment is 15%. Youth unemployment, de la juventud, is 30%. However, in every neighborhood, in every city, the outdoor terraces are full. The people are having cañas y chatos. Yo no sé si chato de vino, chato. They're having wine. They're having pinchos or tapas and things. And there's a lot of money. But you know, you can go in Madrid, for example. The Barrio Salamanca is a nice area. And so, of course, the terraces are full. But you can go to Moratalaz or to Villaverde Alto, and the terraces are full. So what's the question? I don't know. The question is, if you count all the people on a very nice afternoon when the weather is perfect, and you count all the people in this city who are in the terrace, it's probably only 5% of the municipal or the local population. So the other 95% are not on the terrace. Why? In many cases because they're having some financial problems. All right, so ahorrativo is thrifty, to save money. Yes. Do you save money? Are you a thrifty person? Are you conservative with your money? I hope so. Sobornar is to bribe. Escrito bribe. Cuando vi la palabra bribón por primera vez pensaba, ¿será de sobornos? No. To bribe. I'm going to bribe you. ¿Me estás sobornando? Are you bribing me? ¿Me quieres sobornar? Do you want to bribe me? Bribe. Bribery es el concepto del soborno. Bribery. Is there a lot of bribery in the government? I don't know. Directly or indirectly, probably there's some bribery. To bribe. You can't bribe me. I cannot be bribed. This is true. I cannot be bribed. Nobody, just once. No, only once in my life, in Spain, a person has tried to bribe me or to offer money under the table. Yeah? It was interesting. The concept of facturas falsas, false invoices. Only once a company asked me to prepare false invoices. And I refused. Only once in my life, in 45 years, only once. And it's interesting, this company was not a Spanish company. It was a multinational. It was the Spanish subsidiary of an important, very important European company. And they wanted me to prepare a false invoice for 800,000 pesetas. 800,000 pesetas. And I don't know how much that is in euros. Not too much, maybe 5,000 euros. But I refused, and I lost the client. I lost the client because I refused to prepare a false invoice. Okay. To bribe. Abrazar, to embrace. 2 words, abrazar. To hug, H-U-G, hug, con H. To hug and to embrace. To hug is physical. To hug. Kisses and hugs. Besos y abrazos. Kiss, XXX000. Lo has visto, no? That's kisses. Las X are kisses and hugs. To hug. To embrace is the formal word, abrazar. And embrace, embrace can be used figuratively. Vamos a abrazar este concepto y usarlo. We're going to embrace this. So we use it figuratively. Hug is physical. And a tree hugger, abrazador de árboles, a tree hugger is a person who's an ecologist, a radical ecologist. Un abrazador de árboles. Abraza los árboles ante las personas. Because a person in the environment, ecologistas, radicales. We call them tree huggers, to hug a tree. But the verb here is to embrace. Cojear is to limp. To limp. Tengo una cojera. I have a limp. It's a verb and the noun. I am limping. Estoy cojeando porque tengo una cojera. I am limping because I have a limp. Yes. Yes. Do you have a, if you or your children don't learn English well before entering the labor market, you will enter the labor market with a clear, visible limp. Claro. Entrar al mercado laboral ya con cojera por falta de inglés. You should avoid entering the labor market with a limp. To limp. Deshacerse de elogios sobre. Wow. To rave. To rave about. To rave. This is common, eh? Rave reviews. To rave. Wow. Yeah. Marta is the best productor. She's the best producer that exists. I mean, she's incredible. I mean, I cannot believe how good everything she does is Richard, you're raving about Marta. Oh, raving, but she's good. I'm raving. It's interesting. Escrito rave, con V en medio. Rave, rave. Como el pasado de dar, gave, rave. And raving has 2 meanings. One, deshaciendo un elogio sobre. I am raving about Marta. Now, como adjetivo, raving mad means totalmente loco. Enloquecido. Raving mad. And so it has a different meaning in this case. But what's important here is the verb to rave about. To rave about means to, increíble. To rave about usually about a person. And rave reviews. Because review is revisar, repasar, review. But a review es una crítica. Pero no una crítica de criticar a alguien. That's a criticism. No quiero críticas de mi labor aquí. I don't want any criticism. Ahora bien, teatro, cuando hay una nuevo estreno teatral o cinematográfica, the next day in the newspaper tienes las críticas de prensa y los críticos. And these are called reviews, the reviews. And the people who write the reviews are critics. Los críticos escriben las críticas de prensa, las reseñas sobre la película nueva. Very important for some people. That's called a review. And the critics write reviews. And if the critic writes the review, elogiando, praising the play or the film, it's called a rave review. Oh, incredible movie. You must go to see it. The best movie I have seen in 10 years. That's rave reviews. And the critic is raving about the movie. All right. Exprimir is to squeeze. To squeeze. Yeah. Marta es empleada aquí. Los empleados en todos. Yeah. In all the companies, son como polvorones que exprimes. Yeah, aquí te exprimen, no? I squeeze her to extract all of the juice. Yeah, exploitation, right? ¿Te sientes explotada? Nah, she doesn't feel exploited, right? Besides, she has a side job, eh? Yeah, she has a side job, a professional activity that's very, very good. And she's an excellent photographer. Excellent, the best in Madrid. So, to squeeze is exprimir, to squeeze an orange. And a squeezer, exprimidor. You have manual squeezers and you have electric squeezers to squeeze oranges or to squeeze lemons or to squeeze grapefruits. Toronjas, ¿cómo se dice en español? Pomelo. Toronja in Latin America, pomelos. Have you ever squeezed a grapefruit? Yeah. Have you ever played the piano with a grapefruit? No? Try it. If you have a piano and in the kitchen you have a grapefruit, un pomelo, open the piano y sobre las teclas negras, the black keys, roll it. It sounds wonderful. And your neighbor says, "Qué bien toca usted el piano." Yeah. It sounds wonderful. Say, wow. So try it, but the black keys, not the white keys, with a grapefruit. ¿Dónde estoy? Exprimir is to squeeze. Squeeze también es achuchar. Me estás squeeze. Yeah, squeeze. When I came to Spain and started teaching English, some Spanish people didn't say excuse me, perdóneme. They said squeeze me. Say chúcheme. Yeah, chúchame. Bueno, okay. Squeeze me, no. Excuse me. But to squeeze, es como to sneeze, estornudar, pero con SQ. To squeeze. Okay, devolver o vomitar is to throw up. To throw away is tirar la basura. To throw out is tirar, porque no lo quieres, pero como si fuera por la ventana. Throw it out. But to throw up is only used for devolver, vomitar. Yeah, to throw up. If you drink too much and you get drunk, many times you will throw up. To throw up. Traidor is traitor. Traduttore, traidore. Say traductor, traidor. It's very difficult to translate perfectly, to convey exactly the spirit, the beauty of an original. It's impossible. Yes. In my next life, I will learn Russian well in order to read Dostoevsky in the original. And Tolstoy as well. And Turgenev. And many others. Gorky. To read them well. And Pushkin. I like Russian literature. And but people tell me, or reading, they say, a lot of the richness of Russian literature is lost in translation. Como la película Lost in Translation. Yeah. And so it's frustrating. Yes. Peer Gynt by Henrik Ibsen, the Norwegian poet and playwright. Some people have learned Norwegian only to read Peer Gynt in the original. It's incredible. Traidor is traitor. Yes. Traitor. El que avisa no es traidor. Es un dicho aquí. In English, he who warns isn't a traitor. Okay. Yeah, and I'm warning you. If you or your children don't learn English well, they will have more trouble in the labor market. I'm warning you, así que no soy traidor. I'm not a traitor. Traitor. Al por mayor is wholesale. O sea, venta al por menor, al por mayor. Retail, al por menor. Wholesale, al por mayor. Retail and wholesale. A wholesaler is an intermediary. An intermediary. For example, really, car dealerships, los concesionarios de coche, these are wholesalers. For example, I don't know, Volkswagen. Volkswagen sells the cars to the dealership. And the dealership in turn, a su vez, se dice in turn. Volkswagen sells the cars to the dealership. And the dealership in turn sells the car to you and me. Sells the car to you and me. But I have to go now. I can't sell you a car. But I'll be back tomorrow.